Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rotation Champs Edition. My name is Ashley, aka MiDNiTE, alongside Kingdom Soldier.
Yo,
Man,
what up?
honestly, we were talking a little bit about, just podcasting before the podcast here, and we both been around a long time, and here we are, one more season deep into a podcast. It's been a crazy ride. For those of you that are subscribed to the ROKKR YouTube or listening to us on any podcast platform where you can listen to podcasts, thank you for doing the year with us and just keeping up to date with everything ROKKR, CDL, and just rotating with us. I'm excited to talk about champs. I am still salty as a ROKKR number one fan and employee of the team. I am still pissed we are not going to champs. That sucks. But we can still chat. We can still do some predictions, chat some recent topics that we saw. I know Seth had a really cool video that came out with HEKTOR where he's talking about retiring. So I'd love to get your take on that. And then, we can just talk about the state of the Minnesota ROKKR, maybe start theorizing some stuff, Kingdom. I'd like to maybe put you in the GM chair, the pretend one, where
Oh
you kind
man.
of make your squad. But anyway, I just want to know, Kingdom, what are you thinking about CDL Year 3, 2022? How's the vibe of this season been? To me, it's been the best CDL season so far, but I'd love to know like your take on it, your vibe.
Well, we just had the best event of I would think any of the CDL years. Like in this last one in Major 4, the storylines were ridiculous. The way they told the story, the way they orchestrated it, the intros, the kind of the rivalries, everything about the New York Major was just it was dope. And it's unfortunate that New York ran out of gas towards the end, but like what an awesome way. And I can't wait to watch NYSW's no pressure video tomorrow on YouTube to see like what happened, the behind the scenes stuff leading up to Major 4, going into the getting to the grand finals and everything like that. I think the fact that FaZe hasn't won anything makes this one of the more interesting years we've had in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, but especially since the forming of Atlanta FaZe. Like, um, this is awkward, and everybody's kind of speculating what does happen to this roster that stayed together for 2 years if they don't win champs. Like, do they stick or do they make a change? Because winning is actually important. It's like back in the day when Seth left Optic, and he said today in that interview you talked about that it's because he loves winning and he didn't think he could win with Nate on the team, and so he left. And it's interesting because I think if there's a chance that the team is like, let's say Coach Crowder's like, we're sticking, there may be a chance that one of those guys wants to leave. And so I think that would be really interesting. The storylines leading into this champs are some of the best storylines we've had. The number one storyline, which I'm going to highlight as long as I can have breath in my lungs, is the legendary careers of Seth and Krim, and the legacy that both of them are putting on the table in this tournament. If Optic wins, if New York wins, if either one of them get to the grand finals, the storylines, it's just going to be ridiculous for two of the best players we've ever seen. And for Seth, if we acted like World War II didn't happen, 1 point whatever, plus KD, every single champs with the exception of World War II. And the dude is just continues to fry and continues to do well. So, and Optic has not had the year they've wanted since Major 1. It's been really annoying. And, I know we'll talk about that, interview, so I'll save some of that. But for me, this is, to your point, this is one of the best years that I think we've had in the CDL era, especially, even including the Pro-Am this year. And yes, the number one common denominator amongst all teams that are currently in the CDL is they are so happy that they do not have to play online Vanguard anymore. And I'm sure that all of them that are out of champs have said they're happy to not play Vanguard anymore. So this has been a year where the game was not optimal, but the CDL, the actual league and the teams, including the ROKKR, have kept content flowing and kept the storylines exciting and given us something to celebrate. And for most fortunately for me, I've covered COD since Black Ops 2. I've been a fan since Black Ops 1, watching esports, and this is the first time that I'm going to champs. And so I'm like super duper excited
Let's
to be going to
go.
champs. And there's a lot of people I've been sliding in the DMs, of course, like people that I've met in the past because I've been to 3 lands over the last 8-9 years. But there's also a lot of new people in the league that I've never met before, and I'm really excited to meet them too.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited for you. I'm bummed that I'm not going to be there. I don't know if more than one or two people from our staff are even going. I know, obviously, our the headhunter himself, Jake Reppin, will be there.
Oh, sweet.
Obviously, yep. I
I'll hit
think
up
Reppin will
Jake.
be there. I'm not sure if Brett will be
All
there or
right.
not, but yeah, there will be someone from ROKKR at Champs, but unfortunately not the team. So it's gonna be crazy, bro. So is this? You said it's your third or fourth land. Is this your? You said first champs or first CDL
Yep.
era champs?
First
Oh,
champs.
dude,
Never.
champs.
I have never experienced champs.
Champs is just the cherry on top of everything. And I was in a CDL call today where a lot of the teams were talking about their boots on the ground marketing efforts there at the event. And it
Yeah.
sounds like they have a lot of cool stuff planned. So you're gonna have a really good time. And I do think like this is could be like one of the most iconic champs to cap off an iconic CDL season. Although ROKKR, like we did not place well all year, this was still a season that was ripe with storylines. And, we're now at this crazy crossroads, August 2nd. Only, I think we have a sub player and we have the option to extend Havoc if we so choose. The rest of the roster spots are open. And, we could recall, like, we could bring back any number of players that was on our team this year, but it certainly has to be a mutual agreement there for that to happen. So, going to be super. I'm already like, I'm excited for champs. Don't get me wrong, but I'm excited for like, all right, in 3 or 4 weeks, like, what's really going on? Like,
you have a new team to interview and promote.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. We
yeah.
get to shoot a new like roster video. It'll be good. It'll be good times. I love Call of Duty off season. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, obviously champs is the topic. I watched a CDL piece of content earlier today where they had some folks from the community and like CDL's like talent and staff talking about like their picks. Did you catch that same video?
Yeah, I saw most of it on Twitter.
Cool.
I think yesterday or something.
Yeah, the consensus among them and like the consensus they kept saying was like, who do you want to see like in the championship finals at champs? And almost everyone and their grandma said Optic and FaZe. And like obviously I want to see that too. Like that's just two juggernauts going up against each other. But I love your storyline, your vision so much more. Crim versus Scump in the finals, NYSL versus Optic. They've both got like newer young guns on their team around them. That to me, whoever wins that champs is the GOAT. I don't care about the number of championships that Crim has, and I'm not taking anything away from Crim. Is like if it's GOAT A and GOAT B, it's like those two guys, right? So that's what I want to see. I want to see like who's the undisputed GOAT rather than let's watch Optic versus FaZe. Like we've watched that. We already know how that goes. Optic's gonna win that, But I want to see, dude. Imagine Crim coming out doing his little pose, and then Seth comes out, the crowd cheers. It's gonna be crazy, bro. If that happens, so
a best of 9 Crim6 versus Seth would be ridiculous.
That's the finals I want to see.
Gods.
That's the finals I want to see. Chat, are you guys with us? Do you want to see Optic versus FaZe, NYSL versus Optic? Neither of those teams. Would love to know what you guys think of the chat. But yeah, I'm. That's what I'm hoping for to kind of cap off the season is the battle of the GOATs.
That's a big storyline. I mean, and if that somehow can happen, like if there's a way that those two teams, even if it, I mean, honestly, I would even take a winners finals at this point. Like,
yeah, or a losers finals, anything.
Yeah, anything, because that's
they need to play each other.
Those two guys, like, yes, that's all I want to see is Crim versus Scump, and let that be the storyline. Rip to the GOATs that aren't in this champs, in Attach and Clayster and Slasher, but Crim and Seth is still in the league, still going. Like I would just love to see those two teams go against each other. And I know we're going to do picks later in the show. It's like Optic isn't going into everybody's there's all these rumors about how their practice is better. But I've also heard, like I watched an LAT video the other day where they said that they asked Draza like something about who's the most underrated team or something like that, and it was like Paris's scrims or something, he said, because and everybody agreed, like in scrims Paris was scary, like it was good practice, but online and on LAN in actual matches they just could only win two, so it's like, but in practice they were amazing. And so I it's cool that Optic's doing better because it creates a great storyline. It's cool that they talked about Seth potentially retiring, but I don't even think if they place sixth, I still think Seth comes back and plays next year.
Yeah, I do too. That's a good segue into our next topic. Is Hector sat down in like a sport coat type of vibe outfit and interviewed Seth face to face, which I love because Hector knew all the questions to ask, knew how to kind of get Seth, like get his wheels turning and get him to really kind of bring things up or discuss his perspective, throughout his career. And the whole video is kind of centered around, for those who haven't seen it yet, is this the final season? Is this when Seth retires? And it seems like they're kind of trying to buffer it in a way where, he, maybe this is his last year. He's talking in the video about how much his freaking hands hurt, but he really wants to win, but his hands hurt all the time, and he could do content if he wanted to, and he could do whatever he wants. The world is Seth's oyster. So I don't know. What do you make of that? I thought if Hector's dressing up, that's a red flag. Not a red flag, but just like that's like, this dude loves to wear like 90s style streetwear all the time. He only dresses up if it's super serious, right? So my question, do you think it's bait? Do you think they're just trying to get the interest, is this end of the season kind of typical conversation? They've never done a video like that before, but they've definitely brought it up before. So what do you think? Do you think, like, what are the odds? What % chance odds would you say that Seth will retire from Call of Duty after this season?
10%.
10.
I would say he's already probably played Modern Warfare 2, right? So he'd know right now if he was retiring. Like, this dude would know, like, I'm not winning on that game, I'm not playing it. If a World War II new game, which we just played, so that's not happening, but if another one came out and it was like World War II and he felt like he couldn't add to the team and win, he wouldn't do it. If they didn't win the first major this year, and as a result have this second seed or third seed and have been favored all the way throughout the season, even though they just haven't been able to step up and do it, I think he would consider leaving. But because they won an event, and this is a COD where there's only 4 majors and they won one, like, that's a big deal, and so I think them winning, them being FaZe's kryptonite all year, that is proof positive that they have potential. The biggest challenge is Illy, right? And that was something Seth talked about in the videos, that he's really frustrated. He said this is one of the toughest years he's had competing, and that people don't understand what it really meant to lose all of that momentum by having Illy not be able to play and do all the substitutes and have the multiple players.
Shannon just pulled it up on his screen, but bro, Hector's only dressing like that clean, if Seth is retiring, man.
He had a business meeting or something. He was pitching a deal. Look at his haircut. It was like he was meeting with the executive. Something was.
He might have been, but this dude.
Hey, I love the bait.
He prefers just chilling.
I'm down for the bait. I'm 100% down for the bait.
If Hector's not dressed like this in this video, I'm right there with you. 10% chance that Scump retires. But he's got the sport coat, dude, or the blazer. I don't even know what that's called. It's so fancy. Like,
it's a blazer. Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice one.
Dude.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure the sport coat equals, or did you say it's a blazer?
Seth's retiring.
I'm pretty sure the blazer equals he's going to retire. Seth's even dressed nicely. Like, we see them in their other
that's what there was something, I'll be honest with you.
There's a vibe.
Optic does like 17 pieces of content a day. Like, there was something they were doing. But I also, like, honestly,
so you think that the way that they're both dressed has nothing to do with this video? They just happen to be doing something that made them dress fancy. Is that what you're saying?
I think so, yes.
Because I read it the opposite.
How long the video was, based on them intentionally piling all the trophies as much as possible into the screen, into the shots that they took. Like, there was one shot where it was literally, you were looking at just like a pile of trophies. It was like, but that's Seth's career, right? And if I think there's a lot of people that are saying they're basing whether or not Seth, retires on what happens in this COD champs. But I would base it on how Seth's been playing this year. I
Yeah,
would
he's
base
still
it on the
really
fact
good.
that he can still contribute to the team. And he said in the interview, he pretty much in his mind, once he's done, is not going to play anything competitively. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's not ready. Like, he's not ready to just chalk competing all together. Like, I'm not playing Warzone. I'm not like, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to play Warzone tournaments. I'm not like, I'm just going to, focus on having fun doing content. The one thing that people have to remember is Seth, I don't know, but we all do, has to have the biggest salary in the league. And so if he does, that's just my guess, you don't get that big of a salary doing YouTube and Twitch. You get a lot of money. It's a lot. And he could make a lot more than what he's making. But I know that if he does have the largest salary in the league, then that might be something he wants to get for as long as possible, as long as he's winning. Because your playing career is short, right? I mean, he's a young dude. Once he's done playing, he's going to spend the next 20, 30 years, or I don't know, 10, 15 making content. And so I think Seth is the best hybrid we've ever seen in the Call of Duty League. No one else has done content and playing as a pro at his level except for Nadeshot. But Nadeshot couldn't play like him. And for as
Hmm.
long, I mean, Nadeshot retired, I don't even know how many years ago now, like 5, 6. I don't even know how
Yeah, a
long ago
while
it was,
ago.
which is crazy that he created 100 Thieves since then in just like 6 years.
Dude,
That's
yeah. And then also like
mind
100
blowing.
Thieves for the first year or two, they didn't it was just him, right? It didn't really have any
Yeah.
funding. It was just a general idea or a clothing
Yep.
brand dream and yeah, look at him now.
Yep.
It's
And now this
yeah.
dude's, and they talked a lot about Nadeshot in this video, which it was the one
Yeah.
moment where I saw Hector's face, and Hex, and so I'm sure if you saw that part of the interview, when he asked Seth, like, I've never asked you this before, but how did you leave me? Like, he was like, how did Hastro contact you? Like, why did you leave Optic and go to Envy, and how did that all go down? And he explained it, and you could just see Hector sitting there with a grimace.
Just pissed.
And
Still pissed.
yeah, and Seth was like,
Yeah.
"Did it make you mad?" He was like, "Yeah, it made me mad." It
Dude,
was
he
like,
was
"What?" And
it was a
then,
bad time in Optic history for sure. I
well,
I bro, I
go ahead.
remember it. We were shook, dude. Like I was just a content creator on Optic at the time, but we were like, he left? Like, what do you mean he left? Like, there's no way, bro. Like, how? Like, it didn't make any sense. Did not compute. And like, even like just thinking of him in an Envy jersey was just like,
Yeah,
no, bro. Like, come
no, that
back.
couldn't happen. Well, did
Nah.
you hear? So they also asked the question. Scump asked the question: would you have continued doing Optic if, because Nade left because he was mad about Scump, and Scump left because he was mad about them keeping Nade. And that's basically that's what Heck said. He said like Nade left because of you and us bringing you back or whatever, and knew that there was some beef there. But and then Scump left because of them not dropping Nade to get better, and he wanted to win. But Scump asked the question, "What if I never came back? What would?" And you have to think about what that would have done to Call of Duty overall, even though Scump made the point, like, now we're together anyway, like Envy and Optic. But it's like, what would that have done to the all around growth of Call of Duty if Optic Gaming wouldn't have had Scump anymore? And they never would have got him back. And Hector was honest. He was like, Optic wouldn't have been what it is.
Yeah,
He's just like
100%.
it's not like all the championships that Scump won after he came back and they got Damon and Krim. It was, I mean, it was over. It was like, okay, let's go. Bring Damon over. We're good. We're gonna win everything. And those four guys, they were the greatest dynasty we've seen in Call of Duty history. Atlanta FaZe could have at least given them a run for their money, but they haven't won anything this year. And so this was a really good interview. But I'll
Yeah.
stick to what I said. I don't even see this guy retiring. I can see it in his eyes. He's hungry for chips, and he still has the ability to get them. And now, will they trade players? Yeah, he has a lifetime contract basically. And so if Scump says we need someone else other than whoever that's on the team, whether it's any of
Yeah.
those three guys that are all
Stump's like
amazing,
Tom Brady, bro. Or LeBron James. You just get him who he wants.
facts. Why not?
I think I don't know, man. The way that they're dressed in this video, how they have the trophies set up, this was such a blatant, like, it was such
Yeah.
blatant bait that it almost feels counter. Whenever Optic clickbaits, it's like, ha. But this was like a serious sit down conversation
Yeah. It
between
was weird. It was
brother to
interesting.
brother. So
Yeah.
maybe they're buffering some sort of like expectation. I do think I was thinking about it a little bit. Like if Seth wins champs, I could see that as being like a
Oh my
sayonara
gosh.
sucker.
Yeah.
But to your point, like if he knows he's still good and he just won champs, like he wants to keep going. Like Tom Brady won Super Bowl towards the end in Tampa and got up
This
again
guy,
next
Tom
year.
Brady's
No one thought.
ridiculous. Yeah.
No one, dude. That
Hey,
dude's like 45.
leave the Patriots, come back to a different team, and get to the Super Bowl. Like I don't even.
Dude, that's wild.
He's
And
the
then
GOAT.
just they sign whoever. They just got Julio Jones. They just sign whoever he wants. It's crazy. Anyway, this is not an NFL podcast. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think you say 10% chance that Seth retires. I'm more like 55, 60, somewhere around there. I think if they
Spicy.
do well at champs, here's this. If he beats Crimsix in champs final, he's retiring. If they place
What
really
a good
poorly,
way to go out, though, man.
dude, right? If they place really poorly, I think he'll retire. If he feels like he can't contribute, he'll retire. But if they win and they beat FaZe or something in the finals, he'll
What's a
keep
poor
going.
placement in your opinion? Like 7, 8?
Yeah, below
for
6.
him?
If top
Okay.
4 bust, if you're looking at champs as anything like a good run, in my opinion. So yeah. Anyway, we've talked about Optic a long time. I love talking about Optic, obviously. Former Optic member here, but yeah, dude, the way they're dressed in the video sussed me out. I almost and like look at the chairs they're sitting in.
Yeah,
like,
I thought he
this
might
was
like
very
retire
intentional and very interesting to me. Like knowing how they run content, this was intentional, and I found it interesting. Maybe they're just trying to spice it up and be a little clickbaity, but this felt a little too official to be clickbaity. So we shall see. All right. What else did we want to discuss? Yo, what's up, Rage Machine 420 in the chat? Dude, love your name. He's here every week too. What a legend.
Rage.
Rage. All right, you guys ready? Are you ready to do some predictions, man? Are we gonna like go through it, see who's gonna
down.
win?
After watching,
I
watched a different prediction show earlier, and it was like LAT and FaZe in the finals, and they had LAT winning. It was.
I mean, there's a really good chance that could happen. I don't know.
They got to go through a lot of teams.
Yeah, true. At least everyone starts in winners. That's the beauty of an 8-team tournament. Dude, champs should not be 12 teams. I'll stick by that. If you can't make top 8, it's kind of your problem. Then you just got to post pontoon memes on Twitter, man. Shots to ROKKR. Hey, man, we're just trying to have fun in the off season, okay? We're just, it's sad
good
times.
job, social guy.
Don't mistake our memes on Twitter for us being content or chill with where we're at. We're definitely doing some hard work behind the scenes to get a good roster or a great roster for next year. But hey, in the meantime, you got to meme it up. So shout out to our social team. Let's freaking go. All right, let's get into some predictions here. Man, we were both just saying we really want to see a subliners versus Optic at any point.
I know.
I really want it to happen in winners final, losers final, or grand final. So like give me 3 possibilities for New York versus Optic. I just don't know how likely that is. I guess it depends. Let me see. Let me look at the.
They'd have to get to losers round 3 or winners finals.
Yeah, so
the only way they're gonna play each other.
Yeah, it really depends. Like I guess it depends on where the drop down in round 2 happens.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If they both lose at round 1, they'll meet up at round 2 of losers. No, I'm sorry, round 3 of losers if they both win their next matches. But if New York loses first, which looks likely with FaZe, then Optic could drop down later. I don't know. It's getting too complicated. Let's do our predictions. All right, FaZe versus subliners. King, this one's got to be hard for you because I know you're on the NYSW train. You're manifesting it. You manifested it for stage 4. Not this time?
Nope, it's the easy one.
Oh, dude, FaZe is going to win this match. I know Crim turns up at Champs Extra, but FaZe are demons, dude. They're still FaZe. They're not FaZe, but they're still FaZe. I think FaZe beat Subliners 3-1. Who you got?
I'm gonna say 3-2. NYSW. I'm going crazy.
He's doing
I
it.
know. I'm nuts.
You're wild, bro.
Yeah, I think this team has found their it's same thing as LAT. They found their rhythm at the right time of the season. They have found they were easily one of the best teams at the event. They could have won the grand finals. Like
Yeah.
they looked really, really good. They looked clutch. They looked like they were communicating well. Kismet is coming out as one of the best, players in the league, like out of nowhere. And it's really more about his mental. And when you can combine that level of kind of mental prowess and gaming and CDL or COD IQ with Crim's IQ and Crim. I mean, we've talked about this like a month ago. Crim actually taking a back seat and being like, all right, kids, you tell us, you do the calling, you do the IGL. Like, that's a huge move, man. And so I saw Crim drop a 0.7 and they still, 3-1 to team. So and FaZe is off their game. I don't know what it is, but the jitters are going to hit them. Alec doesn't look as happy as he has since like United. He looked a little happy on Optic, but even on Optic, he didn't like it because he didn't like doing content. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons he was willing to, roll out. But it's like, I honestly think that there's something going on in the FaZe camp. And we've talked about it, right, all year long. How is FaZe not one of grand finals? It maybe has something to do with the crowd, and like the jitters. And I don't know if they just need a veteran or what, but something's not working. They all get in a. So I'm going to go Subliners 3-2.
You're buck wild. You're buck wild
I
for
am
that
crazy.
Kingdom. Hey, I stand it though. Honestly, I like the belief. I mean, you can never count out Crimsix at champs, and there's a lot of talent on that team, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I feel like FaZe is going to turn up. They're going to phase up, as the kids say. We got London Royal Ravens versus Surge. Surge looked really good at the beginning of the year. Won a major, barely made it to champs kind of vibes, and now they're playing London Royal Ravens round one. I think London is going to show up. I got London 3-2. I think it'll be close. And I usually never go against accuracy, the Iceman, especially on land and at champs. But I don't know, man. I think London's going to put it together here with a 3-2.
These matchups are really good. I just want to call that
Yeah.
out. Like these four
Shout out
matchups are
CDL.
like, man, like it ended up with like the easiest call on here is FaZe versus NYSL for most people, right? Like
Yeah.
this one, I'm gonna go with you. I like your logic. You're right that the Surge, even though they've been the iciest team, they've looked a little lacking on land, especially, and they kind of squeaked in. I'm gonna say Ravens 3. Man, we might have a million game fives. I'm gonna say Ravens 3-2.
3-2.
I think
Nice.
Pred and Sib are gonna be a little scary, but I think they will catch an L in the first round.
Sheesh. Dude, I actually forgot they had Pred. I want to change my vote. I'm just kidding. I do think London will take it. Optic versus Toronto. Toronto's going to be tough comp, man. I know Optic's going to turn up for champs. Knock on wood. I hope they do. I do obviously want Optic to win this entire tournament. If ROKKR's not in it, I'm always cheering for Optic. But Toronto, I mean, they've kind of been a back and forth team all year, but they've definitely been more up than ever as of late. But still, Seth on at Champs Land, the rest of those
Yeah.
guys, Illy's back in the fold, and his wrist is back to normal ish from what they say. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Optic. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna sound like a total like Stan
I
cult
know you're
member
about to say.
even. 3-0 Optic starting off Ultra in the crap, dude. Optic's they're coming out swinging. They're like, Seth's gonna retire. Who? 3-0, boom. Is that like super? Is that crazier than you saying NYSL's gonna win?
I mean, Stephen A. Smith would have a problem with it because he believes that Ultra are winning champs. He said that all year long. He's just said Ultra's winning champs. They're my champions, and so he still believes that. I will say there's almost any other team on here, even FaZe, that if I'm Optic, I'd rather play. There's something about Ultra that just they know how to ice up against Optics going all the way into Cold War. Like they were that
True.
team that when they'd go up against Optic, it was like, crap, it's the Ultra. And
Yeah.
it's just there's something about their play style being cool, calm, collected, and controlled versus Optics kind of like in your face, a little more hectic and frantic. And but I'm still I'm with you on the pulling for Optic. So and they really need to win this first round. Like I don't want to see them go to losers
It's a must
immediately.
win for sure.
I'm gonna say Optic 3-2 though. I think it's gonna go the distance.
It probably will, but I'm manifesting it. Let's go Greenwall 3-0. I do that if Bance starts meditating, it won't go 3-0. And I mean when Bance plays well in any series, like it just
It's
opens
tough.
up everything for Ultra. So it'll be this is every match here is going to be good, but I'm really looking forward to this one first. Los Angeles Thieves, the winner of the most recent major. Who'da thunk after the 2 years of struggle that team has had with the most possibly, yeah, I would say potentially the most emotionally invested and competitive owner. Like Hector is emotionally invested and competitive, um, but Nadeshot's a different level. Like he wants to
Yes.
win. He'll do any team. He'll do any team change. He'll get any facility. He'll make it work so that they win. They finally win their major. Is it? I can't. I know it's an old stat, and I'm trying to remember if it's true because I do feel like United at one point won like the event before champs and then won champs. But is it true that no team has ever won the event before champs and then won champs? Or am I remembering if
United
you
did for sure.
did? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I
Because
think
Simp
they
came
broke
in
that.
and was like, um, I think it was like first place, second place, first place, or something crazy. Like it was just ridiculous. The last 3 or 4 events of the year, they got second at one of them and then won two, which included the, I believe, event before champs and then champs.
Yeah, I think you're
There's a
right.
part of me that's going back far, but I think you're right on that. Like we've never had someone like win the playoffs and then the event, but the year that Optic won champs, they didn't win the event before.
No,
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't
then
think
yeah, you're
so.
probably right.
I think it was United. I think they broke the curse.
The curse, yeah, of
Yep,
course, it's simp.
it's tough. I do think though, LA Thieves, they're feeling good. They're meshing, and that's only going to be good for them. But Breach, I mean, Breach is another team that did insanely well at the beginning of the year, and just it hasn't clicked the same since. Feels like the series that they do win, it's like they have to fight,
Scraping
dude,
by.
tooth and nail, and yeah, they're one fluke spawn away from not winning sometimes. So yeah, I think LA Thieves is going to handle Breach, and I think they're going to do it 3-1.
Yeah, my dude Zinni, man, great player, great veteran, but
Great
he
guy.
just doesn't match. Oh yeah, and hilarious.
Dude, he's
Going
so
all the way
funny.
back as far as he's been in the league. He's hilarious in his impersonations of people. But I don't think he sits the same with the same stature, I'll say, as an attach or even like a slasher, and of course a criminal in a scump. But he's been around almost as long as those guys, and so there is something missing on the like when you think about the Boston Breach, you think they're all young guys. You don't think of Methods as being like this, seasoned veteran. You think they're all young dudes and they're the young team that and unfortunately, this position is where I think the Minnesota ROKKR should have been, is in the position of the Breach and playing LAT in this first round, like, close, but no cigar. And yeah, LA Thieves, they're just easier to call, even though they've been inconsistent as well. And with them finding form right now, I think it might go to their head, but not in this round. I think in the next one, though, it's going to be tough. So I'm going to say LA Thieves 3-1 over the Breach. And the Breach
Nice.
might get double rounded out.
Yeah, I think that's highly possible. I think we'll see if Breach loses, they would play the loser of Texas or Toronto. Oh my god,
Oh,
I called
chalked.
Optic
It's
Texas. That's so
So wait,
crazy.
they play so they play the winner of Texas or Toronto or the loser of Texas or Toronto. So no matter what, they're playing
True.
Texas or Toronto in the second round.
Dude, is the top like that too?
Is
Yeah,
it?
it is. I think so. Loser
Have
of
they always done it that way?
NYSO. No, this is weird, bro. Who made this graphic? That seems weird, right?
Yeah, normally they switch it.
Usually
Like
it's
one of the teams
staggered.
goes to the bottom or, like so that it's not the
Yeah,
exact
dude,
same.
it is how champs is made this year. You're gonna play the winner of the match near you or the loser of the match near you, depending on how it goes. Usually
That's going
it's
to be good
staggered.
for FaZe or subliners. I would say they could beat both of those teams that are on that side
Yeah.
with them.
Optics in the side of the bracket where you do not want to go down. Like, at least you don't have to play FaZe first or
Yeah.
NYSL, but man. Producer Shannon asks, yo, do you guys want to predict what's gonna be the first team eliminated? I guess it kind of depends on like when the literal matches are. But I think the team that to most likely get double first rounded is between Surge and Breach, and I'm gonna go Breach. You agree there? You think
I'm gonna
different?
go Breach for sure because yeah, if and especially because of what we just saw, like to your point, Breach has to in the second round they're gonna have to play Optic or Ultra, period. And those both of those teams are better than them. And for the Surge, to your point as well, they're gonna have to play FaZe or New York. And now they
Yeah.
match up well against New York, and so that would be interesting. But the Ravens, yeah, they're going to find themselves in a. I don't see the Ravens beating FaZe whether they win or lose, but they're
Yeah.
at least not going to get double first rounded. But if they go down, I think either of the. Yeah, I'd say I agree with your take 100%. It's either Breach or Surge, and I'll go with Breach.
Let's go. The rotation where we agree with each other's takes.
What's the
Mine
biggest
is
upset?
biggest upset potentially
Who's going to go
here.
farther than everybody thinks, in your opinion, like in the
Who's the
tournament?
dark horse? I guess you can't call a dark horse the team that just won the event. I would I would say London Royal Ravens are subliners, and the subliners bid's a little bit wishful thinking, and I don't know why. I just have like a vibe that London Royal Ravens, that's a mouthful, is going to go super hard at this tournament. They're going to make it pretty far. I don't think
Yeah.
they'll win it or get to the finals, but I think that they're going to make a little run here and freak some people out. So, yeah, I hope it's subliners, but realistically, I think it'll be Ravens as my dark horse.
What if the
Well,
winners final was like Ravens versus Ultra? It would shock everybody.
that'd be
Not that the
so
Ultra
weird.
aren't good enough or the Ravens aren't good enough, but like if there's no FaZe, no Optic, no New York in the winners finals, it'll be awkward. Like
Yeah, people are just gonna
just
go
be
to Disneyland,
strange.
man. That's gonna be crazy. You're gonna go to
Well, the way they
Disneyland.
planned it though, they made it so that like Saturday has so many matches because there's only
Yeah,
one match on Sunday that it's like I mean, you're pretty much going to stay there and watch them all anyway.
yeah.
My
Watch it
hope,
all
of course,
unfold.
is like Optic stays in the tournament as long as possible. It's better for everybody.
Same. Yeah, I really want like the storylines too of it all. Like it's been a crazy year. I mean, you got Optics won, Thieves have won, Subliners won a fake chip. Um, I'm so happy. Dude, Kingdom's undying love for Subliner, aka any team that Krim or Clay is on, is just my favorite rotation bit.
I want Clay
Uh,
to win Challengers champs too. That'd be dope.
yeah, that would be actually really sick. Imagine he comes out with the ponytail. He's been growing his hair
Oh
ever
my
since he got
gosh, he should
dropped.
get a fake ponytail. He should do it.
That'd be crazy. Or at least put it in a bun now. He's grown, so you could put it in a bun. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So I mean, we kind of talked about like our dream matchup already, but full prediction. We don't have to go through the whole bracket and the ins and outs. But who do you predict wins COD champs?
Oh man. Um, this is so hard.
Change.
Like I feel like everyone is doing the same thing that we've always done, which is every event, everybody predicts FaZe.
Yeah.
But when are we going to get to a point where we're like, maybe they're proving to us that that's the wrong bet, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not picking FaZe to win. Um,
Change.
for my NYSW stand, of course, I want to pick NYSW. But like, if I really, I'm just gonna say this: like, Aches is on to something. If Ultra's going to show up at some point in the year, it's going to be this event, with their meditation practice and cool, calm, and collected, whatever. But they've been choking a lot this year, and that's why they
Yeah.
haven't won an event. Is they've choked like leads in series and leads in single maps, and you see them looking like, how did we like what like I think I think they're one of the teams this year that got full sailed, 5-1 or 5-0 all the way up to 6. And so it'd be really nice for Optic to win another champs. That'd be crazy.
That's
Um
my pick, baby. Come on, Optic. Let's go.
I know that's your pick. I'm gonna gosh darn it.
You
FaZe
think
really should win this event, but they're not going to. I'm gonna say
thinking hard about this one.
it's hard. I want to say Optic. I want to say Ultra. I want Optic, but Optic are that team that when they get down, they get down. And
Yeah, they got to
you
start
know,
hot, otherwise it's tough.
yeah, if they catch an L, they're not going for four matches to the finals, to the grand finals. Surge could do that. FaZe could do that. LAT could do that. But Optic, it's just not. It's never. It hasn't been in their blood for a long time to make a losers bracket run like that, stamina wise. And so, yeah, I'll say. Forget it. I'll say Optic. I still.
Let's go.
I mean, I want NYSW to win, but I'm looking at the bracket, and Optic should be able. If they can beat Toronto, they're going to beat, in my opinion, the Thieves or the Breach. They're going to be in winners final, and it's all about who they play in the winners final. They've had FaZe's number except for the last event, and so maybe they win that or the last qualifications or whatever. But let's say they win that. Or lose that, and it just depends on who's in the losers finals to go up against. If it was Krim, I'd love that. Who's going to go to grand finals? Seth or Krim? That would be amazing. And then, but FaZe is going to be a hard nut to crack if they win winners finals and they get to pick a map and they're ready to finally win something this year. It's going to be hard to beat them 5 maps in that grand final. So I'm going to say Optic, and somehow somebody else is going to beat FaZe. I don't know who. Maybe NYSW, and then it'll be Optic, NYSL, winners final for all the marbles. It'll be great.
It just doesn't seem possible when I think about it, but if Subliners can beat FaZe and Optic start hot and win, like, this could be the most lit event of all time.
Yes.
That would be dude, they need to play. Okay, I want Optic to win, but above all else, I want Scump and Krim to play at CHAMPS 2022. Please.
Yeah, at least once, right?
Look at the prize breakdown. Holy cow, 1.2 milli for first, 650 for second,
that's game changing.
Third. Yeah.
FaZe wins. Simp, I think, goes to number 1 in earnings. I need to look at the numbers. But right now, Krim is still number 1, but he's only number 1 by like 100 and something K. Scump wins. He might bump up there. I mean, he hasn't won enough champs, but like, this is going to be, because champs is worth so much more money now.
Yeah, it really is.
This event is gonna change the whole, like, it's gonna shake up the top 10 earners in COD history, depending on who wins.
And if you think about it, we're writing Call of Duty history right now. Every event, but especially this one. Let's freaking go. Let's enter a fan queue before we go. Standy for MVP. Love the Twitter name, dude. Do you think next season will start this year? So the past 3 CDL seasons have started in mid to late January. And so this person's asking, will it start this year? I am going to pretend I don't know the answer to that and just tell you what I think they should do. Yes, it needs to start about a month to 6 weeks after the game releases. The game needs to release. It gets its huge hit in popularity. People figure out the maps, the modes, the meta, the rules. Give us time to figure those things out. But once we figure that out, I would say within 4 to 6 weeks, that season should be starting. Because if you leave that December, January, or like late November all the way to mid-January kind of lag time where that stuff's being developed, it's just too much, man. Everyone wants to see like who's on these new lineups. What do they look like with the new game? I think there's a little bit of fatigue that happens with Call of Duty even by January. So the earlier that they can start it, the better, in my opinion. Do I think it should start 2 weeks after the game comes out? No, but I do hope that it starts in late 2022. Kingdom, are you aligned, or do you like the January start time for the seasons because its calendar makes sense and everything? No.
Big, huge, giant facts. No. And what I'm excited about is that because we're using the same game for 2 years, they can start the next season like in October if they want to.
I didn't think about that.
True. Who cares? The next season can actually be the first time that COD has been able to, like, the game will be fully developed. We'll know the maps, the modes, the guns, the everything. and it'll be like, when do you want to start, guys? And so I'm really looking forward to the life cycle of this game. I've been seeing all the people tweeting out little screenshots, and I'm getting jealous because I really, really, really want to check it out.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that. And no, I think this year, it would be a mistake to wait so long. And I don't care what they have to do another pro-am, a kickoff classic, something, so, give us competitive COD before 2022 is over. This is one of the only sports, not just esports. This is one of the only sports that is so restricted due to the game coming out every year, and then they have to spend so much time optimizing
Yeah, true.
what kill streaks are allowed and all, so many different things. And so what guns are GA'd, and it'll be nice that we're going to know all the GAs. We're going to know everything, and so, but I also think that for marketing purposes, you look at, Call of Duty over the last year has gone down by about 10 or 11 million players each month, to the point where now it's at 97 million, hasn't been under 100 million in years. And so I think that they're going to push for Warzone 2 and Warzone Mobile, which is I guess I can't say anything about that. Warzone 2, Warzone Mobile, and this Modern Warfare 2 game. I think all of that is going to create this marketing bubble where they're going to need esports to be a part of it. So I hope.
Yes, dude, that is the hope. It's all a rising tides. Raises all the ships, man. We need every part of the COD community. It's not just one part. And I am obviously super partial to the competitive Call of Duty side, but I realize the importance of the entire Call of Duty ecosystem. And that's kind of where we'll leave it, Standy, for MVP. We do hope that it starts this next season. Whether I think it will or not, I can't say. All right, guys. Good news, bad news. Good news. I had a lot of fun doing the podcast. I hope you guys did too, or at least doing it this week. We will be back. We're not dying. But however, we are going to be taking the next 2 weeks off. One cool bit. So even though ROKKR is not playing at Call of Duty Champs or CDL Champs this weekend, our sister team, or I guess technically so version 1's like the parent org to ROKKR, right? And we have multiple other esports teams. We have Valorant, we have Rocket League. So there's more teams to cheer for. And Rocket League did make their version of Champs, which is Worlds, and it's happening next week on land in Texas, Fort Worth. So I'm going to be down there next week. I will not be home and available to do the podcast. And then, well, let me tell you what, as soon as I come back, I'm going on PTO. All right. It's been a long season. Need to reset.
Good for you.
I'm going to build a fence with my dad. It's going to be sick. I'm going to take some time away. So the podcast will not be on the next 2 weeks. Our producers will be in Texas next week as well. I mean, maybe if I'm on PTO and you really something crazy happens with Roster Mania, maybe we can get you and Joey Nubsy on to talk. But other than that, we will be back in a few weeks. I think once Roster Mania kicks up, you will see us back on a Tuesday at 7:30 Central here on the ROKKR YouTube. And then, the next day where you can listen on all podcast platforms. So if you are interested in watching version 1 Rocket League and following along, we're going to be doing some launch parties. Minnesota at version 1 HQ, August 6th. That's this weekend. Come check out where I work. It's going to be crazy. And then in Minnesota, I believe it's the 13th, August 13th. I might have the date wrong. Please don't kill me, Chris. But at Surly Brewing in Minneapolis, or actually technically at St. Paul, we're going to be having a watch party for Rocket League. And then we've got Belong Chicago. If you want to see any of these details, check out the link that's on the screen, and we'll see you there. I'm telling you, man, I know Rocket League is way different than Call of Duty, but no BS, dude. It is my favorite esport that's not COD. It's so easy to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
It's easy to pick up and play. It's a free game, but it's so incredibly hard to be good at. There's so many hype moments, and and everyone understands, soccer, football, but with cars, it's really sick. So we're super stoked for that next week. And other than that, Kingdom, man, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And now we'll see you in the off season.
Can I get a last word?
Yeah. Go.
Okay, last word number 1. I hope the ROKKR retain Mr. Dillon so that Kim can still be in the chat next year.
Same, bro. Same.
I I guess last word number 2. If you're going to Champs, hit me up. Come see me. Say hello. If you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, or you're hearing it on a Twitter Space, or you're watching it on YouTube, hit me up. I made the mistake at one of my first LAN I went to. Hector took me into the pro player lounge, and I was so nervous I barely talked to anyone. And it I regretted it for so long. For years I regretted it. And I got to talk to Krim and Censor and Apathy and, of course, Hitch and Hex, and went to lunch with some of those guys. But the nervousness that I had that didn't have me go talk to Formal and the rest of the guys, it was really disappointing. I was disappointed with myself. So please come talk to me. Don't be nervous. I'd love to meet any of you guys. And thank you for supporting the Minnesota ROKKR and the rotation all year long. Year number 2 has been pretty dope.
Yes, bro. Year 2 of the rotation in the books. Now we move on to the off season. I wish I was going to Champs with you, Kingdom. It would be our first time to meet and chill. If you guys want to link up with Kingdom Soldier at Champs, at Kingdom_Soldier on the Twitterverse. Anyway, that's it, bro. Let's go. Champs is going to be hype, and then
let's go.
Roster mania begins. The grind never stops here, people. So stoked. Anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching or listening. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Leave a review, comment, whatever you do on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. I'm not sure. Did I say Apple Podcasts and iTunes? I meant Apple and Spotify. Holy cow. Hey, man, that's how you know it's time to get offline. All right. GG's, everyone. We'll see ya.